Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Hafizh Agharid, and I'm a student from Muhammadiyah University of Jakarta. I studied English major in a specific field, which is education field. So for this video, I will talk about what I have been learned. Not not quite what I've been learned, but I will talk about my simulation for the final project and language testing subject. So this is actually my uh, final final term video that my lecturer asked us to for the final project. So we have to basically choose what skills that we are going to simulate, and then we have to determining what test that we are going to do by choosing the skills that we choose, and then how did we create the test, and how do we deliver the test, and how do we evaluate, and finally the scoring criteria for the test. So I'm here choosing writing skills because today's today is very bright day for the writing era. People stay at home, often create their literature, like they they kind of like creating poem, or they kind of writing status in their WhatsApp Snap or Instagram Snap, and people often wrote diary and then post it in their blogspot. And I think writing skill is the most suitable skill that I'm choosing right now. So a little bit about writing skills is that writing is a process of pouring down information or expressing ideas of people uh, that that expression is poured down in the written form, in letters. From bunch of letters it became words, from bunch of words it became sentences, and then from bunch sentences it became meaningful. So that's a little bit of writing skills. And since I've talked about writing skills, then I will going up a little bit and talk about the writing test itself. So writing test is a test or structured method used to measure students' writing comprehension. It's basically just like that, and it is aimed to know the strength and the weakness of students' writing comprehension. And then after we found out the strength and weaknesses, we know that these students need to be evaluated, and um, the test that will be conducted, it has to be matched by the student's comprehension or student skills. So the way I'm going to conduct my test is I will be using the intensive control And the third segment is a picture sequence description. It is basically a row of six activities shown in the picture, and then the students have to um, write sentences that becoming a paragraph. And the criteria for this one is the students obviously have to match the pictures and order it completely and correctly, and the students have to use the proper vocabulary based on this activity, and they have to use the proper grammar used on this one. So that's the type of test that I will deliver to my students. The instruction is I think it's very simple and very clear. So the first one is students are required to obviously look at the pictures and answer it one by one. And after the students are looking at the picture, there's a question. And the first segment is there's some question like what is the woman doing, what is the man doing, and what is the boy doing. On the second segment is students are asked to write down sentences, but they will add some proper prepositions on for the answers. And then on the third one, the students are asked to make a short paragraph telling the story of the row of the pictures that I have been shown earlier, and they have to use the proper grammar use and then correct the pictures. Order the pictures correctly. That's the type of the test that I will deliver to my students. Moving on to the next segment, we have the evaluation phase of the test. So in this phase, the way that the students will be evaluated is obviously their writing skills, but in detail they will have I will be evaluating their grammar use, in this case the preposition use, and then how students can interpret the picture that shown in the test, and then how the students are using the proper vocabulary based on the context that the picture is shown. And then that's for the evaluation phase. And then the last phase is scoring criteria needed for the test. So as we saw, we have three separate segments from the test. So I'm gonna break down one by one the criteria needed for the test. So the first one is short sentences. The criteria I will use on this test is just basically the match between the image that's shown in the question or the test and how students can match it between the image and their answers. So it's basically the control criteria for this test is the answer that match the image. That's it. That's just about it. The second one is a picture description. So for this test, it is much the same like the previous one, but on this segment I will evaluate how students are using their propositions So the zero score is for both grammar and vocabulary are incorrect, and then the scale 1 point is either grammar or vocabulary is incorrect but notable. So it's just one mistake, it's either grammar or vocabulary. And then score 2 or scale 2, it's for grammatically and vocabulary correct. So I think that's for the criteria that I will use for the test that I will be conducted. Again, this is only a simulation. I will not know how this is gonna work. If it's real life and this is working, that maybe I will be conducting the test all over to reach the milestones that will be needed for the pass criteria. And if it's not, I might gonna have to look another way for conducting the test. So I think that's pretty much it for the last. It's not easy, or it's not simple to conducting a test. You will have to know what's the method that you're going to use, what's the instrument that you're going to use, and what kind of test that suitably match your student skills. And then you have to evaluate the test after you conduct the test. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.